All right. The second document we had for last class was the Cisco Systems white paper. And as you know, they are a supplier of network equipment. And so they're going to look at this not from a technological perspective, which is what Goldstein does, but they're going to look at it from the issue having to do with policy. That is, looking at the current state of broadband, looking at the benefits of broadband, comparing broadband policies across the world, and then providing a roadmap forward. Like, what do we need to do in order to facilitate better broadband here in the U.S.? And that's really their goal in writing this, to foster informed, intelligent policy making on the part of state and federal legislatures with regards to broadband and policy related to broadband. So broadband goes by a number of different definitions. Different people define broadband differently, but for the purpose of this paper, broadband is defined in this way. Current broadband is 256 kilobits per second downstream, that's when you download, and 128 kilobits per second upstream, that's when you upload. This is a rather poor performance, as you can recognize. 256 kilobits per second is not very fast. What Cisco would like to see is somewhere around 100 megabits per second to the home, both upstream and downstream as a minimum, if not greater than that. And in fact, the network connections that you have currently through Comcast and through Uverse and all these other things that are available to you tend to be somewhere in between the 256 on the low end and the 100 megabit per second on the high end. We would like to be on the low end at 100 megabit per second and above, but we're not there yet. And this is why Cisco has written this paper. They want to facilitate thinking about broadband into the future to increase speed and capacity. Another thing to note is that broadband at this particular point is in its nascent stage. We're just beginning with broadband. Market penetration is small compared to other services like telephone, cell phones, and even dial-up modem connection. So we need to be thinking about this as a long-term commitment for a number of decades in the So the first thing they talk about in the paper are the benefits of broadband. Like, why should we care? Why should broadband be something we want to invest in? Why should broadband be something that we worry about as citizens, as users, as a society? And they point out a number of areas in which broadband is considered to be useful and has been proven to be useful. One is in the area of business productivity. With increased broadband penetration, we can have greater employee efficiency. People can work faster, better, in shorter periods of time. They can do telework or mobile access. That is, they don't need to be in the office. Today, we can't come into the university because of the fact that we have inclement weather and it's pretty crappy for driving. So we can coordinate our activities by way of some sort of mobile access, i.e. the video that you're watching right now, and I can deliver to you over the internet, and you don't have to be here, but the network can bring the information to you. And it's crucial for customer service because you know now so much of what goes on in the world of customer service doesn't happen on the telephone anymore. It happens online in various forms of chat or video conference or some sort of service through a product or software site. But it's crucial to making these transactions function. Another benefit of broadband is in education. Classroom access to content is obvious, making audio and video materials available, but probably the one that gets the most press and is of most interest to universities and colleges right now is distance education and e-learning. In other words, what we're doing right now, where you can learn and work on your degree without having to be here by using the network to deliver the content to you. And obviously this is seen as being the wave of the future for delivering lifelong educational opportunities to people after they graduate from high school and their bachelor's degree from university. Another area that is really seen as benefiting from broadband is healthcare. There's something called telemedicine, which is crucial. You have experts in various disciplines like radiology or cancer treatment or whatever. They can't be in your local small town. They may be at a major metropolitan hospital. And in order for you to get treatment from them, you have to travel to them, which for a lot of patients is very difficult. Telemedicine allows them to use high-speed networks to do not only diagnosis at a distance, but also surgery at a distance. In fact, you can operate on a patient who is in Peoria while the doctor is in Chicago. And it's because the doctor is able to control a robotic surgery device over a network and do so in real time without any delay or without any noticeable problems for the experience of the patient. And more surgeries are being done robotically. And therefore, why does the surgeon have to be in the room? They can be on the other side of the world even. So telemedicine is opening up all kinds of possibilities for offering care to patients who cannot get it normally because in their local community they may lack access to some particular specialty or specialist. We are also working on huge efforts to digitize all healthcare data, not only data regarding your physicals and your medications, but also things like your radiology, if you ever have an X-ray or an MRI. All this will be able to be held in a very large database and be available to any doctor anywhere in order to help diagnose and provide treatment for a patient. And there's a huge push right now to move in the direction of fully digitized medical records. The last thing that is important, and you may not know this word, is procurement, e-procurement. Hospitals buy a lot of stuff, equipment and medications and bedding, I mean, you name it. They buy everything. And in order to reduce the cost of procuring all of these goods, you can use high-speed networks as a way to coordinate both inventory and purchasing. So the same way in which we use point of purchase with the cash register at a local retail store to help not only give you the price but also to do the inventory and the ordering, hospitals are starting to use a very similar system now to maintain inventory but also to keep track of how much of one thing they're using to make sure that we are buying at the lowest possible prices and economizing in various ways like that. And the last area that we're told that will see noticeable impact of broadband is in something called e-government. This means organizing things online. If you had watched what was going on with the Obama campaign, both the first campaign and the second campaign, he was able to mobilize a lot of people online and get small donations that add up to be big donations, and that was crucial to his winning the presidency. So we're seeing ways in which we can now use social media and other forms of online activities to organize effectively for not only campaigns for elected office, but also for running government itself. A good example is the Obamacare rollout. Now obviously the website had some problems initially, but once those problems were fixed, you're able to roll out this massive healthcare plan to a very large nation by using the network and the web to provide the service to the user. And the last area that e-government is seen as being useful is in citizen engagement. That is, if you want your representatives in Congress to be involved with the people they represent, one way to do that is to leverage the abilities of the network to create online town hall meetings, to allow for direct access to representatives by way of email or Facebook pages. But again, we're seeing more and more of this happening as our government becomes much more digitized and much more connected with regards to these systems of communication.